All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us here for real estate accounting. Today, our agenda is very simple. We have three major areas that we want to discuss on this presentation. We are going to be talking about the COVID-19 grants that the government and some of the states have made available. So grants and loans for small businesses. And then we're going to talk about the qualification processes and all of that. And then also discuss the financial reporting and benefits to you as a real estate agent on your journey to become a millionaire real estate agent. And then we kind of dive into very specific of how Globadime can help you reach that goal or make that journey. So without much ado, I just want us to start off by presenting ourselves to you. My partner and I are going to be presenting, and just to give you a little background of ourselves, I'll start with myself and then I'll let him also introduce himself to you. So my name is Kwame, full name Nana Kwame Akowa, I prefer to go by Kwame. I have an MBA in finance, a bachelor in professional accountancy, and I also have a bachelor's in economics. I have worked as an auditor both for the state and for private organizations, public accounting companies, but also worked as corporate accountant and currently as a finance manager for the school district within which I reside. I belong to a couple of professional organizations, and the notable one will be the National Association of Black Accountants. I'm part of the Saginaw Chamber of Commerce and a few other professional organizations. With that being said, I will let Lasina take the wheel.
All right. Thank you, Kwame. So my name is Lasina Konate. I'm a CPA. So in terms of education, I have a master's in accounting. Before obtaining my master's, I did my bachelor's in international business with an emphasis in accounting. So after graduating with my master's degree, I went to work for a CPA firm for a few years. I did financial audit and a compliance audit, and also prepared some tax return for corporate and individuals. And I left public accounting. I went to work for a corporate for a few months, and I didn't like it there. So I went to the state of Michigan to work as a senior compliance specialist. So there I work a lot with real estate people. And now I went, I live in Lansing, so I live in Ann Arbor, so I drove to Lansing. It was pretty far of a drive, so I decided to come back home. So now I have a new job in Ann Arbor where I do governmental accounting. So I'm also part of the Michigan Association of CPAs, a part of the Saginaw Chamber of Commerce, and the Michigan Not-for-Profit Association. So this is a little bit about my background. So I'm gonna let Kwame proceed.
Awesome. So Globadime Consulting, we offer accounting and financial services that incorporate analytics and KPIs, so key performance indexes in monthly reporting, to really help small and mid-sized companies. So in this case, to really help real estate agents that want to grow or make smart decisions for their business. And I think that is what stands us out from any other accounting company, because we know that accounting reports are used for management decision and business growth. And so we emphasize that and help and give you the key indicators you need to really grow your business and we'll talk more about that as we discuss, when we discuss the benefits. But before, let's start with the grants and the loans that are available for small businesses. And we'll start with the PPP. I'll let Lasina go ahead and walk us through those grants.
Okay, thank you. The reason we want to discuss the grants and loan available, so throughout our experience, we noticed there are a lot of small businesses out there. They have this money is available to them, but for some reason they're not applying for it. We even have some clients who didn't want to apply for it, but we encourage them to apply for it, and we help them through the process, and they end up getting the money. So the first one we want to talk about is the Paycheck Protection Program loan. So this is dedicated to small businesses, and not for profit. Even as an individual, you can and you're a business owner, you can get it. Even the independent contractor also qualify for it. So the the requirement is pretty easy. You only have to, you have to have less than 500 employees. So, and you also have to be able to show that your business was impacted by the coronavirus. And also the deadline for this PPP loan was June. It just ended June 30th. But what happened? There was a lot of money still left over, because people didn't apply for it. So there's over 600 billion left over, that people, small business can apply for. So, but what happened? The Senate and the House, just I think it might have been July 1st. They extended the deadline to August 8th, 2020. So if you're somebody who has not applied for it and is thinking about applying for it, so it would be a good idea to try, to apply for it. Because right now, a lot of people, a lot of businesses applied. So the money that's available now, it's gonna be, I'm assuming it's gonna be easy to get the money because they wanna distribute this money, and people are not applying for it, so they need people to apply for it. So it should be, the chance of getting the loan should be pretty easy. So it would be a good idea to apply for it. So if you're one of the people who already applied for the PPP loan, so they are trying to forgive some of the loans or even the full amount of your loan. So there's just a little bit of a requirement to it. So remember, if you apply for the PPP loan, it was intended to pay for things like payroll costs, operating costs, which we got like interest, rent, utility costs. It was intended for that. So what they're gonna do in order to forget your loan, you're gonna have to show your payroll costs. Okay, I spent this much in payroll costs. So can you, can you deduct that from my loans? Let's say if you took out $100,000 of loan, and your payroll costs within the covered period, which I'm not, trying to discuss a little bit. So which is your payroll cost within the covered period is $100. Basically, they can forgive the whole amount. So what's the covered period? So basically, the covered period started when you receive the PPP loan. Hey, Kwame, can you go back, please? So when you receive the PPP loan, your covered period starts then. So you have 8 weeks, right? So any payroll costs you incur or pay during that time can be used to forgive your PPP loan. So, and for those, here you see 8 or 24 weeks, but if you're somebody who applied before June 5th, of course, 2020, right? You get up to 24 weeks. So any payroll cost within that time period can be used to forgive your PPP loan. So for the non-payroll, so those have to be incurred before, you have to have incurred those costs before February 15th of 2020. So and anything after that will not qualify. It has to be things you incur or you enter into a contract like a lease contract, before this date. So you can use those to also forgive your PPP loan. Next slide, please. So the application process for the forgiveness seems pretty simple. You have to complete this form called Form 3508, and your bank from whom you receive your PPP loan might have a similar form, which is now the 3508. They might require to fill that one out, but they should be pretty similar. But the way the process works, so you're gonna apply through your bank from whom you received the PPP loan. Even though the money is from the Small Business Administration, they're not dealing with that. They're letting the bank, the borrower and the bank deal with this process. So you're gonna submit your application to the bank from whom you received the PPP loan. and they're gonna use your application and go through it to determine whether or not you qualify, for the forgiveness. So in some cases, you might qualify for portion of your PPP loan, and it's possible that you qualify for entire to qualify to forgive the entire loan, right? And some people might not even qualify for any amount at all. That's possible. So in that case, if you don't qualify for any of the amounts, right, of the PPP loan you receive, or portion of it, so you're gonna have 2 years, within 2 years of your maturity date to pay off that balance. So it's gonna be this might be different for everyone, depending. So if you have a loan, they're gonna tell you the maturity date on the loan agreement. So you have to pay your loan by 2030, for example. So once 2030, so whatever balance is left over, you haven't paid yet. So you have 2 years to pay off that amount. So, but if they forgive the whole amount or part of it, so you should not have any problem paying off, your balance. So the payroll and non-payroll, they do not automatically qualify. So like I mentioned before, there's a time period within which you have to incur the cost. So you have to make sure you only count those, because that's what they're going to use to determine the amount that was going to qualify. So for the non-payroll expenses, which are like a rent, utility, of those kind of things, so you cannot you can only it's up to 25% of your PPP loan can go toward that. So basically, they're telling you if you receive $100,000 in PPP loan, you can only use 25% of that money toward uh, non-payroll expenses, because they want to encourage people, to use it more for payroll, because they want to keep people in the job, people to keep working. And
Just to add a little bit to that, the banking part too is going to be very key, Lassina, because one of the things is when we were applying for people, we realized that a lot of people who couldn't get this money didn't have, either they didn't have a good relationship with their banks. The banks were like, for example, there were some big banks that will not even allow you to apply unless you do it online. And a lot of businesses didn't have the right structures in place to apply online, and they just needed to talk to a banking person. But there were some banks that have local people that were going to work with you. And the PPP loan, it's really key that you have a good banking relationship, because most of the application, like you said earlier, goes through the bank, right? Yeah. Most of the application process goes through the bank. And so I think that will be another thing that I would want people to be aware, that it's important that your bank is really you have a good relationship with your bank, you have a business bank account, and that you have a person within the bank that you can talk to really get the loan moving on. And I just wanted to add that little bit to it.
Yeah, thank you, Kwame. Yeah. So there's another loan that's available. I like this one a little bit, and you're gonna see why.
Yes. Can we ask questions about PPP before you move on?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So did you talk about the percentage that's forgivable? I don't know that I heard that.
Yeah, so no, it depends on it's dependent on every individual, right? So what's gonna happen? The bank's gonna take your application, and within your application, like what I mentioned, the covered payroll, like for payroll, for example, there's similar thing for non-payroll, right? So you're gonna show them the application is gonna require you to enter those amounts. So for example, if you say in your covered payroll, which is like the covered payroll starts from the time you got the PPP money, like up until 8 weeks or 24 weeks, depending on when you got your PPP money, right? So you're gonna enter those amounts, and they're gonna take the application and analyze the application. So let's say, for example, you got a PPP loan of $100,000, and your expenses, like for the covered period, is 150. I'm gonna assume 150. So you incur, eligible costs more than you got from your PPP loan, right? So if everything goes right, you should be able, the entire 100,000 you receive in PPP loan should be forgiven.
100%. You can get up to 100% forgiveness
Yes.
based on what the bank approves, right?
Exactly. So it's gonna be based on, that's gonna depend on the bank, based on the information you provide to the bank. The bank's gonna use that to determine whether or not your loan should be 100% forgiven or
And
75% forgiven. But
and that is what our reporting will be very key, because we will be able to make sure that whatever information is presented to the bank falls within that forgiveness part, so that whatever you apply, because I think you have to have minimum of 60% of the loan has to be payroll related, and then a certain percentage has to be mortgage expense and other expenses that you just talked about that, Lassina. And mortgage, rent, utilities, all of those things. Now, if within the covered period, like you said, if 60% goes to payroll, and then within the covered period, you use it for all these eligible expenses, then 100% of the loan is forgivable. So you will not have to pay anything back.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was told that 75, when I applied for mine, that I had to use 75% of it for payroll. So
I think
maybe
that's correct. Yeah, it's 75, 25. So 75 for payroll, and 25 for non-payroll.
That was for the application part. So actually, so I think, and then they've changed it a few times, but they've
been updating it. So but the most recent one information I found 75, 25.
Okay. And then originally it was 8 weeks. They did a look back of my payroll for the full year for 2019 to determine how much of a loan that I could get. And I thought I had to spend it all within that first 8 weeks, and then they changed it to 24 weeks. So am I now allowed to use that money over a longer period than the 8 weeks that I thought?
So when did you receive your PPP loan?
It was in April.
Okay, So
it was before they changed it to the 24 weeks.
Yeah, if you receive your PPP loan before June 5th, 2020, you can go. You have the choice. You can either do 8 weeks if that's gonna benefit you. If you think you have all your money by then. If not, you can go 24 weeks. That you are eligible to do that. But the people who I don't think people who receive the PPP loan after June 5th are not eligible for it. But if you did, you can go. Yeah, you can go 24 weeks.
Okay,
so I think that would be if I were to recommend you, I would go with that one because it's very likely you're gonna have more expenses, right?
Right.
What the bank is gonna disqualify, because I used to work in that area. I review people's costs and stuff, so I know what happens. So they might kind of disqualify some. So let's say if you send all the money, like you receive PPP loan of 100,000 and you spend like 150,000 and cost payroll and both payroll and not payroll, you submit to that. If they take out like even 50,000, that did not disqualify 50,000, you still qualify for the to be forgiven. So our recommendation would be go the whole 24 weeks. That would not hurt you at all.
Okay. And then I'm surprised that all of it is forgivable, because for some reason, maybe I'm confusing the 75%. I just thought 75% of it was forgivable, but if all of it's forgivable, that's even better.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The 75 is what? So when they give you money, so think about it. The purpose of this loan was to keep people on the job, right? So, and to keep business running. So a lot of people right? Even though the business were not operating, they were still paying lease, right? The leases and rent of the electricity, those you're still you're still legally obligated to pay those things. So when you think about the people, that's why they want you to use the people money for that. They want to keep people on the job because of the coronavirus. The people are getting laid off. They don't want people to get laid off. So that's why they believe it's more important to keep people on the job, right? So that's why they want you to put a lot of your money toward paying employee or payroll, any type of compensation, and the 25 to for rent and stuff like that. So but in terms of the forgiveness, the whole thing can be forgiven. It's just gonna depend on what what you provide to the bank, and the bank determine how much of your loan should be forgiven. I'm sure they're gonna take a lot of things into account to determine that. We don't have all those details, but we know the cost you're gonna provide to them is like the most important part of it.
Okay, and then my last question, I'm so sorry. So what kind of,
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, did you mention what kind of documentation people need to provide typically to the bank in order to apply, just so that people know generally? I think that's one reason that a lot more people didn't apply, because they thought they wouldn't have the documentation that they needed to support the request. So what were those things? What are the things that you need to provide or be prepared to provide to the bank in order to apply?
Yeah, so with that, one of the reasons why we didn't even go details is because of the change in date. We had a whole slide for that. But now, because it's closed, you are not able to apply immediately. But if you are looking to apply when the president signs and then the extension is open till August 8th, one of the first things you need is, of course, your taxes, financial statement, your prior year financial statement, and then your IRS payroll filing. The Form 9 is in 941. But you have to file. Everybody that has employee, W-2 employees, you file that. Or even if you have 1099 employees, you have to have the 1099 filings on if you do a Schedule C, whatever kind of filing system, or if you have a corporation. But whatever payroll filings you do to the IRS, that is the most important piece of evidence the bank uses to know how much payroll you pay out to your employees. Because anybody can come and say, I have 12 or 13 employees. They use your quarterly filings, quarterly payroll filings with the IRS to determine how much you spend on payroll monthly. So that is going to be the most important document. And then, of course, like I said, your taxes, your prior year business taxes, and then also you need your income statement that for 2019. And then some banks may require you to give them your year-to-date statement as well. I know that there were 2 banks in particular that required year-to-date statement to see the monthly payroll expenses that are recorded on your year-to-date statement, if they are consistent with your filings. So those are typically the documentations that the banks will require for you to file.
And most real estate agents are 1099 employees, so they would be able to show the 1099 that they got from their broker to show what they received in compensation for the last year.
Yes,
along with their tax return.
Yeah, and that is why I always say that the relationship with the bank is key, because there's one particular client that we work with he's not a real estate agent but owns a lot of properties and has a real estate company, right? And then one of the challenges he was having was the bank that he was working with did not do, everything had to be done online, and he didn't have anybody to talk to. And so it really dragged the process. It was really hard because sometimes when you are submitting, they ask you, they were very thorough with the questions they asked, but because he didn't have anyone to really explain things to, it made their 1-800 number did not even go through. You call and you stay on there for hours and nobody picked up. But all the clients that were able to talk to the banks locally and then sit down with a banker, a business banker, we were able to get them the funds pretty easily because the PPP is approved at the bank level. And that is, I think, the key part of this PPP. But definitely, being able, your 1099s and all of that qualify you to, you can use those ones to still get a PPP loan.
Yeah, because so what I'm gonna add to that is like the definition of a payroll. Basically, it's like any type of compensation.
Compensation, yeah.
So basically, like 1099, you're paying somebody, right? You're paying somebody, so that means you're keeping somebody on the job. So yeah, if you are somebody who's providing 1099 instead of W-2, yeah, that shouldn't make any difference.
Okay, great. I see one question in the chat from Marilyn. It says, I got a PPP loan directly from the government, no bank. How does that work? Also, I have 1099 independent contractors, not employees. Can their pay be forgiven? And then there's another question. So let's address that one first.
I would be really interested to see how, because that might be an EIDL, the Economic Disaster Loan, that comes directly from the government, the SBA. I think PPP, the way they structured it, always goes through the bank. And now some people even use credit card companies, but to get a PPP, typically goes through the bank. It could be that they got the EIDL, which is the next one we'll talk about after this, but that is also they got.
And yes, and then she said that that's probably correct. I think so too. She also said she has 1099 independent contractors, not employees. Can their pay be forgiven? So they can apply as well, right?
Well, if she has independent contractors, they can apply for the PPP. Yes.
Right. Okay.
And they can also, but if she's talking about forgiveness for the EIDL, there's no forgiveness for that one.
Yeah, they have not said like maybe in the future they might, but there's no forgiveness to that one yet.
Okay. Her other question was, she also has investment property. Does it cover lease lost? You might have to explain that a little more, Marilyn.
Can I go backwards a little bit here? So it is a disaster loan, but they're calling it a PP loan. So I am very confused on the terminology of which loan I have. It is a disaster loan, but they call it PPP loan. So what the heck?
Yeah, that's probably an EIDL, because I got that one too, and that one was directly from the SBA.
Yeah, think about it. PPP stands for Paycheck Protection Program, right?
So, okay. But I'll go back and look at that for sure and find out for sure.
Yeah. So if you have any question after this one, you can also reach out to us. We can do our research and get more information.
Oh, that would be great. Okay. Well, the next question that I have was, I have investment properties, and I was understanding that if I applied for this loan, that it would cover lease loss. And now I'm not sure what the disaster loan does at all, to tell you the truth.
There is another loan on the SBA side for losses that is very different from the EIDL and also different from the PPP. There's a whole new program that covers losses for businesses. And
yeah, I don't think the PPP will cover losses, because think about it, that it's for unless the loss, I don't know how the loss incur, right? So the PPP money was intended for you to keep your business open, right? So if the loss even happened prior to the coronavirus, there's no way it's gonna qualify for it, right? So we have to kind of know the backstory, right? What was it, what made this loss happen, so we don't know that. Maybe if it's like because of the coronavirus, so it might qualify, but we're gonna need more digging and know more background information about the loss.
So are you saying you had tenants who didn't pay their lease payments?
Yeah, that was my understanding. I'm going to look up the other loan right now, the loan that I got, but I thought it was for everything, when it was one of the first ways to apply for a loan. And so I thought it covered both of those areas. So if it doesn't cover both those areas, I'm kind of, out. So
the economic disaster loans, you just use it in your business, basically. They're not going to be doing the same rigor that they do for the PPP, because that was really for payroll, mostly for payroll and keeping people employed.
Absolutely.
So
There is a called the SBA. So this is called the SBA debt relief, and that covers losses. And so that will be the one possibly that you are looking at now. Did you? Are you saying you applied for it or you received it?
I actually received one payment, and then they were, I have 3 LLCs, and so I received one payment. It's already sitting in my bank account, and then I was going to, I was already approved for another one that was going to come in, and the third one I just need to get an update on, but they pretty much, they said they accepted all of them, so.
Okay, yeah, so there is the SBA debt relief, and that is just for covering debts. And that wasn't as popular because most people wanted the EIDL and the PPP, but there is the SBA debt relief, which is another grant that is there for people that their business has a lot of debt on their books. And it has a different kind of requirements for that too. So I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but I just wanted you to know that.
Okay, it is called an SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay, so that is, yes, okay.
So that doesn't cover anything that we've talked about as far as,
No, even though I don't know much about that, I think, but from my background in compliance, I would say no, you cannot use that, that cannot be included. That's like an entirely different program, right? So you cannot.
We're going to cover that next. We're covering the EIDL next.
Yes.
So we can probably move on to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we are definitely going to talk about that right now.
All right. So economic injury disaster loan. As I was saying, this is one of my favorite, loan. So this is also simple, because of the coronavirus. Oh, my video is up. Let me turn on my video. My daughter was here. All right. So in order to be eligible for this one, your business have to have been established by January 1st, 2020. The reason being, I can tell because they don't want people to just go ahead and create a new company to take advantage of this program. That they want your business has to be in place before the coronavirus started. So they want to just target the right people. So just like with the PPP, you need to have fewer than 500 employees. So whether you're a proprietorship or an independent contractor, you also qualify for it. And a lot of private non-for-profit qualify for it by private non-for-profit. So those are like your regular non-for-profit. Because you also have public non-for-profit, like a non-for-profit that's linked to a local or state government. Those type of non-for-profit do not qualify for it. It's intended for private, just private non-for-profit companies.
Yeah.
So there are different levels of loans, and each one of them have different requirements. So the more the money, the more requirement you have to abide by. So you can get up to 2 million, and the loan term is gonna be 30 years, and at the interest of 3.75% if you're a business. But if you're a non-for-profit, it's gonna be 2.75%. So, but if you're somebody who's doesn't need that money and just looking a lot about money, so the requirement, as you're gonna see, it's gonna be less than the the lower the amount, the less the requirement. So if you want to get up to $200,000, for example, so you will not need to have a personal guarantee. So I like that because here in the personal guarantee, what it is you have to personally guarantee the loan. So if something happened, your business cannot pay for a loan, you are personally liable to pay the loan. So things happen. I don't. So that's kind of that's a little bit personally that's kind of scary to me. that I will be personally liable for my business loan, right? But so if you're just looking, something over 25K, but now, and now more than 200,000. So all they're gonna need from you is gonna be, your some as a collateral are gonna be your business assets. So if you have a business, so you have a building, that belongs to the business, and you have a car that belongs to the business, they're gonna use those as a collateral, right? So there would be no personal, guarantee for the loan. So even more, to me, I would say this is like, more favorable to the borrower. That's the 25K or less, right? So you don't have to have any collateral. They're just gonna give you the loan and hope you can pay it back. So if you don't pay it back, they're gonna come and seize your stuff. But of course it has to be in a good faith. You cannot just decide, I just want to pay it. It has to, you have to show that you're insolvent and you cannot pay it, so they can be forgiven. So here's my favorite part of it. So when you apply for the economic injury disaster, right? So basically they enter you into, I'm gonna say like a pool to get like up to 10,000, right? $10,000, of grant. That's like within the 3 days of your application, you can get that money. So it's not a different, you don't have to do a different application for it. It just come along with the economic injury disaster loan application. So, and the good thing is you have no obligation to repay it. It's basically like it's grant, so that means free. You just, if you get it, that is for you. And the thing is, the good news is you might not qualify for the loan, but you might still get this $10,000 grant. So I would encourage everybody to try to apply for this one, because you have two chances. You either have like, basically you can get both, or one of them, right? So maybe none, but your chance of getting something, I believe here is a little bit higher. But one thing you have to also keep in mind. So you remember we talked about PPP forgiveness amounts, right? So the only downside of this grant is if you receive this grant amount and you're applying for PPP forgiveness, so your PPP forgiveness amount, that was approved by the bank, is going to be reduced by the grant amount. Basically, so the grant amount is free money. So basically, they're telling you, okay, it says we give this free money, we will not give you the entire. We will not forgive the entire amount. So this can be like kind of like part of the forgiving amount, basically. So that's the only downside. So it's going to reduce your PPP forgiveness amounts.
So they always make sure that you are not double dipping.
Exactly.
They want to make sure you're not double dipping. So whatever PPP you received, whatever you approved for this, they give you the net of those two. The other thing with this grant is if you applied for it, there is it's called the COVID-19 relief.sba.gov, where you can log in and see the loan amount that was approved. And I know, Marilyn, you said you received it, so I'm sure you were able to log in there, and it will give you all the information about your current loan, when the payments start, how much you were funded for, and then all the information needed. And I think you covered this, you don't have to pay anything for the first year when the loan is given to you. So that's a little bit I wanted to add to the information you already gave us. Any questions with this one?
No, that's great.
Okay. All right, and then.
So here's another one. We have a lot of them out there, man, and we gotta apply. People gotta apply for them. You just need to set the time aside and apply for, as many grants and loan you can, because we are going through some tough times. So I would really encourage people to apply for it, right? The worst can happen, that you won't get the money, right? But you never know if you don't apply for it. So And recently, the Michigan House and Senate also approved like 100 million of COVID-19 relief grants. So each business can earn up to, can qualify for up to $20,000. And the requirement, just like any COVID-19 incentive, it's pretty straightforward. You need to have fewer than 50 employees, and you have to show that you were negatively impacted by the COVID virus. Because who's not, basically, who's not, unless you cannot really express yourself, kind of show them, you gotta be able to explain it, because I know everybody is to some extent impacted by the COVID virus. So I don't think that should be something hard to prove. So, but here's the thing. This is kind of like a continuation of the loan, that was available under the same program, but they call it old program. At that time, I worked for the state, so I even processed some of these things. So they're just adding more money to, to the program, basically. But so the thing is, they don't want you to get the money twice. So if you are somebody who received money through the old program, they're calling it, you shouldn't apply for it, because you will not qualify, right? So this money is also intended, just like any COVID stuff, like operating costs, like your payroll, rent, mortgage, and utility expenses. That usually include transportation, telephone, all those costs. And also, since this is intended for the reopening of the businesses within Michigan, any cost that that you incur, right, through the reopening of your business, it's can also you can use that money. You can spend this grant money toward that, right? So this is quite new, and it was just passed. So there's not a bunch of information up there, and there will be more information coming up soon. So we are keeping an eye on it, and so if you have if it's something you want to apply, and you have a question, just we are available. Feel free to contact us. We can give you, we can provide you with as much information as possible.
Yes. So this one, it just came into law. If you have any questions about it, like I said, there's not a lot of information out there yet, but any questions on this one, the Michigan Small Business Restart Grant? No?
And grant means you don't have to pay it back. So that's great. So if you have,
they're granting you for free.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten either a PPP or a EIDL and you don't want to go through those hoops, I think it's worth considering applying for this grant if that would help you.
Okay. And then I want to add, just because this is being broadcasted, there are a lot of other grants, a ton of them. In fact, we did a whole research to look at all 50 states, that we have a document that has all the grants for all different states available through this COVID-19. So if you are listening in and you are from a different state, you can reach out to us, and then we can send you information. We may not have done in-depth research on it like we've done for the Michigan one, but we can definitely do that, and then, or just give it to you to do your own research on that if you are interested in learning more about a specific grant. So just
thank you for saying that. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because it will get posted to our network, a couple of different networks, and they're not all here in Michigan. So thank you for that.
Yes. Yeah, so we have all of those. We have a comprehensive list of all the grants available. Awesome. So with that, I think we will transition into just discussing accounting reports. What we want to do is we want to really highlight why it's important to have great accounting report for your business, and the way we can help you, especially on your journey to become a millionaire real estate agent, what reporting can do for you in that journey. We basically discuss the grants and the loans available, because we know currently a lot of businesses are struggling. With that in mind, we want to be able to provide a quick relief, quick help with all of these grants, and we are willing to help as much as possible. Now, in addition to that, we don't just want you to be able to go through this time. We want to also be able to have the opportunity to provide you systems that can give you long-term success. So not just your short-term need, but in the long run, because honestly, the greatest hindrance for all these grants that the government put out to most small businesses were they didn't have the right reporting systems in place to apply for these grants. And so I really want to take a few minutes to go through what are the benefits of having a good reporting system and how Global Dime Consulting can help you in that process. So we want to start, one of the major advantages of being able to have access to a great reporting system is the opportunity to track your growth. You'll be able to really monitor how your business is doing based on the goals you set in the beginning of the year. And then also be able to use that to understand whether you are moving forward, moving backwards, or staying at a standstill. I think when you read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, one of the key concepts it covers is setting up goals for your business, having a goal, and then that is the goal that translates into your budget. And so your goal is what you use to build your budget for the year. And being able to keep track of that requires you to have access to a very simple but effective accounting reporting system that will give you the numbers month by month to be able to track your goal. Also, we have the MREA budget model that is covered in the book as well. And that is a model that really tells you all the percentages as it relates to your GCI, your gross commission. And when you think about your GCI, you expect that if you are making, let's say, $340,000, that your gross profit stays around 74%. And then your net income stays around 38%. What a good reporting does is it gives you the opportunity to see where you are, what you are making for the month or for the quarter, and then comparing that to the MREA model, and then letting you know whether something is wrong. You can be able to tell if your cost of goods sold is too high because maybe there's something wrong, and that helps you know understand your business and see what is going on wrong or right in your business so you can make adjustments, okay? And then the last one with tracking your growth that is one of my favorite is, for me, continuous improvement is probably the most powerful term in business that I learned because you are never the best when you start off. But as you go forward, as you do more and more, you become better. And that continuous improvement, you don't automatically get better. In fact, experience, John Maxwell says experience doesn't make you wise. Evaluated experience makes you wise. And so being able to evaluate your prior year performance and comparing it to your current year. So we provide you with reporting that will help you compare how you are doing this year to how you did last year. If your numbers last year, the goal is that your numbers each year is better than the one before. But being able to compare and evaluate your experience is one way that will keep your business moving. And that is, in a small way, it will keep you on your journey. This is my favorite quote about accounting. I always tell any business that we sit down and counsel that having a good accounting and reporting system is not what will primarily drive your success, but is definitely what will prevent you from failure. This is a good accounting and financial system is like a defense for your business. It keeps your business from failing because you are always on your feet with the report that we provide you. The other benefit to that is also the simplification of your financial system. Now, for sure, a lot of people confuse financial system with accounting system. Your accounting system is more so just representation of your business story in numbers. So your accounting system tells what is happening in your business in numbers. Okay, so if your business is doing well, it will show in your accounting system that last year you made 100,000, this year you made 200,000. That is the accounting report. That's what the accounting does for you. The financial system is more holistic. It includes the accounting system, but the financial system more so also includes all your funding. You know, we talked about grants. We talked about everything that helps with the financial portion of your business. So your loan systems, your any financial related thing. Here, the most important thing to understand is, without a good accounting report, you can never have a good financial strategy for your business. You need a great financial strategy to succeed and to be able to hit your goals. But if your accounting system, if your accounting reporting is not good, you would always find yourself losing money or not succeeding in the whole financial strategy that you put forward for your business. So when you go through the MREA, it talks about some of the economic models and all of the rates and things that you need to incorporate in your business to track your success and become very successful. You need a good accounting report to undergird that process. And so what we do at Global Dime, as I mentioned in the beginning, is we design our reports to really fuel that process of you planning and growing and excelling as a real estate agent. Our accounting report is really designed to give you access to the right information to make the right decisions so you can really succeed in that area. So that is what I mean by the simplification of your financial system. It's more so a supporting report that helps you strategize properly in your finances within your agency or within your business. Now, the first two I talked about were more general. It applies to everybody. But one thing I've also learned, that you may be an agent and you may be in the same company, the same industry as the next person, but what drives your business might be slightly different from the next person. So we love using key performance index to help each business. And your performance index may differ each, depend on the cycle you are in. What drives your business when you are making 500,000 may not be the same thing that drives your business when you are making $2 million. They might change based on where your business is. So what we do is we make sure that we focus on the individual. We don't use a general paintbrush to put everybody under the same category. We focus on the individual. So based on you as an agent and how your business is running, we help you design metrics that will be very important to track to help your growth. And that when we get working with you, we're able to sit down with you, we are able to do at least quarterly comprehensive statements and meetings and eventually design what your index will be to really measure your growth, and that you can use as an individual agent to grow your business. So that is what we do with the KPIs for management decision, and that is very specific to each individual. And then the final thing is really the tax planning. This is where we are able to help you sit down, and even before normally we like to do this in the middle of the year. We look at your track, what your performance has been in the first half of the year, what is going to be in the next half. We kind of do a very good estimating and then be able to sit down with you and plan for your taxes, so that by the end of the year, we know that if you are going to owe taxes, we have a system of already paying down the tax liability, or not just paying down the tax liability, also putting strategies in place to reduce your tax burden. You know, and you cannot, when the time to plan your taxes is not when to file, because when you are filing, by that time is very little you can do. But when you plan for your taxes ahead of time, then you can begin to invest in, maybe you can do some strategic investment that can reduce your tax burden. You know, I know most real estate agents or real estate investors are very familiar with the 1031 exchange, and all of those things are things that you need to know ahead of time so you can plan for it and use it to reduce your tax burden. So we spend time with all of our clients to make sure that they have an idea of what is going to be their tax liability by the end of the year and how we can strategically reduce that in a legal way, in a very legal way. But it's allowable within the IRS rules and regulations. And I have a story that I will let Lassina go through for you to see how having a good reporting can really affect your taxes. So Lassina, go ahead and share your story. And
okay, thank you, Kwame. So, like I said, I work for the state and I work as a compliance specialist. So what I did, basically, I work for the state, but I work for the MEDC. I think most people who are in the real estate should know the MEDC because we do a lot with real estate developers. So you have like sophisticated real estate, developer and not so sophisticated real estate developers. So one of the person I dealt with was somebody who's not really familiar with the real estate development world. So what happened? We have this tax credit. So you say you buy a building and you're gonna do the building and you get a tax credit, right? So this person qualified for their eligible investment on which they will be receiving credit was $2 million. So, and the credit that we received was 20% of the 2 million, which is 400,000. So actually, the whole story started before I started. When I went back, the person provided a bunch of documents. Like you can't even start to review the document. I'm like, so I don't know where to even start. So I was nice enough to send her an email. Here's what I'm looking for. Can you please organize it this way? And I sent my list to the person. The person created an Excel spreadsheet, put all the expenses, that's great. But if you show me an expense, you have to show me the backup for that expense, all right? So, the Excel spreadsheet were organized, but no backup for most of the expenses. And this is taxpayers' money. I cannot, I cannot allow any expense that does not have a supporting document because there's many things I look into the supporting document. So I went through my review the first time. I sent my notes back, for her to improve her documentation, and the same thing again and again. So the third time I was like, okay, basically I'm done. I cannot just keep working on this project forever, because it's been very time consuming for just a $2 million project. It took me days to review her paperwork because it was so messy. So I calculated the tax credit she would get. Believe it or not, instead of getting the 400,000, she was getting less than that. And just because, honestly, I can tell because I went to the site and see and I saw the building. The job is done, but there's no document to support that. But I cannot give you credit based on going. I see the work is done. Yeah, so you can get the credit. No, because if the program get audited, I'm required to prove, why did I give credit to every specific, line item expense? So how am I going to prove it? Oh, I went to see the building and the building was done. No, that doesn't work. I need paperwork to show it. So to be honest, if she had, and she was advised to hire, because when I talked to some of the people she worked with, before I started working there, she was advised to hire an accountant to keep track of her costs and stuff like that. And she's just, she want to do everything on her own. And yeah, I was
going to ask a follow-up. So what you are saying is basically by doing it on her own, about how much money did she lose?
Oh yeah, so she was getting 400,000, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, she got less than 200,000, like on the credit. It's like more than half of the money.
So she got less than half of the money.
Yeah, so less
than half of credit that she qualified for.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was already sad, but there's not much I can do about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't have the document to prove it. She really, spent that. I can only see the building's done. but there's no support document. She didn't keep a record. But she could have hired like an accountant, even if it was for $50,000 to run the project, because the project was for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So she would have gotten like, 350,000. But now she's not even getting 200,000 because she did not keep a good record. Nobody can really help you, because that's already done, and she can find some of the document. She was so desperate that she even wrote some receipts on a blank sheet of paper, like $20,000, and blank sheet of paper. I'm like, okay, what kind of receipt is that? So it was a really sad story, but there was not much I could do about it. That's why it's really important to keep a record of everything you do in your business.
Awesome. And I think in that spirit, that is one of the major reasons why having an accounting person really not only keep track of your systems for you, but also keep record of all your receipts and be able to get you through some of these challenges. Because a lot of people, Asina and I have been doing quite a lot of consultation and small business advisory services. I can honestly tell you, we've had a lot of people that have lost money because they came to us too late. And we are in a place where we love to help, and sometimes it bothers us because people are losing money not because they don't qualify, but just because they are not well prepared. And we help you get prepared. I just want to go through some of the key things that we focus on as a business so that you know what you are getting when you work with us. We help you keep financial control through proper planning and business development. We are very holistic in our approach with our reporting system and our business advisory services. All of that is part of the things we do. Even though we are focused on accounting, we do more than that. We focus on client confidentiality, which is really important. So as a business, even though, we've invested in really strong systems and softwares that keeps your information secured, safe, and protected, so that we understand that finances are it's a very delicate area. And so it's important, and both of us are really experienced in auditors, so we understand financial integrity. So we keep that as well. And our whole team is people that have been well vetted, and they are people we make sure that we can trust, and they can keep financial confidentiality. We give you timely and accurate information at all times, and our primary focus is your success. And so on our website, we say, and this is our quote all the time, you do what you love, we focus on the numbers, okay? You do what you love, we focus on the numbers. And that's where our mindset is always, making sure that we give you the right information at the right time, for the right purposes. So with that, I'll open up for questions and any content. So yes, I would, on the last slide, we'll have our contact information, but Marilyn is asking where are we located. We are primarily in Michigan, like Lassina is in Ann Arbor, I am in Saginaw. We have systems where all our services are done online. So regardless of where you are in the country, we can serve you. We've served clients in Pennsylvania, Maryland, so wherever you are, we are able to work with you because all our systems are online based, and then we have a very simple way of working. But I'll also put my email in here, Marilyn, so that you can reach out to us. But and my email is also on the my email is also on the last slide as it shows up. Any questions, thoughts, anything we are finance and accounting related, even if it's nothing we covered, we'll be happy to look at it. And I always tell people, even if you don't know, we have a team to do the research. That is one thing that we do as a company, Global Dime. We work with a lot of people that help us do really good research in all financial related topics, because our goal is to always provide great value.
So Marilyn had another question, Kwame.
Yes, we do offer P&L statements monthly, yes, and thank you for that. we send it out monthly. So what we do is we have a standard monthly statement we'll send you, and then we'll do like a half a year. How do you call that? Biannual? I don't know. Half a year where we'll really sit down with you and go over detail. Yeah, we'll go over detail of your statements, your goals, and then your business as it relates to the finances, the way we see it. And then we will be, and then, you know, and then at the end of the year we'll do that with you and help you build your budget for the year. So yeah, we do the monthly is given. We'll do 2 meetings within the year. We don't do too many meetings because we don't want to interfere with your day-to-day affairs. We just want you to do what you love. So we focus on your numbers. But twice every year, we will meet with you to go through your numbers. At the end of the year, we do your budget for you. And then in the middle of the year, we review that budget and then see where you are. And that's when we do the tax planning as well.
So
what does something like that cost? Does it depend on the size of the business, or what is that?
Thank you. It always depends on the size of your business. What we are trying to work out, with anybody within your organization, the Millionaire Real Estate Agents, the Keller Williams organization, we are trying to work between 150 to 250, depending on the size of your business and the things that you need. And typically when you become an agent, when you become our client, we try to also help you in all other areas without extra charges. So I'll give you a good example. When we offered to apply for PPP loans for a lot of people, and then we charged $500 to apply for each loan. But if you're already a client, you don't pay us anything, because then we take that and do it for you as part of our services. So all the grants and loans that we talked about, we do it for you for free because you're already our client. We will also be able to, if you need, we will be able to file your taxes for you for free because you're our client as well. So there's a lot of additional services when you sign on to work with us, and then we ask that you at least give us a year commitment, and then after that it's going to be month to month, but the prices don't change.
So I heard 150 to 215 per month.
Yes.
And a free tax return.
Yes.
That's nice. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That's a good deal. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, like I said, I will make the slides available. I sent you my email if you email me, and I have your email down, so we'll be able to follow up with any questions or anything with you if we need to.
Thank you.
If you don't mind me asking, Marilyn, well, I will ask you in the email. I will send you a follow-up email. I think it will be a lot more personal, so we will ask that later.
Okay.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
No. Are you posting this video on YouTube? I want to put it on a couple of Facebook
pages.
Available to a couple of other groups.
Yes, I will be posting this on YouTube, and I'll send you the link.
Okay. Thank you both for your time.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you. It was very good.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bye.
have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.